What is the best way to approach writing a story? Is it details first or plot first? Let's look at details first. Do you have an idea where you have a person and place envisioned that you want to include in your story? Well, who is the character? What is the setting?
Are they tall? How tall? Taller than a skyscraper? Are they old? How old? Older than the dinosaurs? What color is their hair? Red? Well, what shade? Scarlet? Brick colored?
You want to be as descriptive and precise as possible and show lots of details. You want to use figurative language and sensory words in your describing as well.
For example, her hair was a rat's nest. Her hair felt crunchy and oily.
You want to describe settings and events the same way. Use lots of precise words to paint the perfect picture.
For example, the large field of freshly cut grass was surrounded by trees turning every color of the autumnal spectrum. There was an earthy smell in the air. There was a slight breeze singing in her ear. Another thing you can use is dialogue. You can develop background and characterize characters through what they say.
I don't want to do anything today. You never want to do anything.
Here, you characterize this character as lazy without saying it directly.
Proper pacing helps develop characters, settings, and events. You don't want your story to go too fast or drag out too long, and this helps the proper development of your story because you elaborate on what is important and move past what is not. Characters are either static or dynamic, and you generally want your characters to be dynamic, which means they change over the course of your story.
For example, you may want to start characterizing your main character as weak and cowardly, but then by the end, they are strong and courageous.
Let's look at plot next.
Stories are structured starting with the exposition, then the rising action, then the climax, then the falling action, then the resolution. You need all of those elements. In the exposition, you learn about characters and their context. Maybe you want your story to be about a girl who finds a portal. Worry about the details later. The rising action would be that girl meeting allies in the magical new world, but making enemies likewise. The climax is when the girl finally faces the bad guy that took over the kingdom, and there's an epic battle. The falling action is where the townspeople return to their homes. The resolution is where the girl goes back through the portal and back home. Now that story's missing lots of important details, but you know what's going to happen.
Remember, your conclusion/resolution should be logical and follow from events in the story. If it's not logical, it's not satisfying. Also, your story always needs a conflict of sorts. Nobody wants to read a story about a normal day where nothing happens.
Think of what conflict is. Is it a girl trying to get with a boy, but she can't? Or is she trying to save the world from invisible monsters? You don't need the details at this point, but decide what you want to be central. In addition, transition words, like these, help you put events in order so that your reader knows exactly when the story shifts from one time frame or setting to another. It establishes the order things happen in.
So every story needs both sides, but which one you start with is up to you. You may have a really cool character but have no idea what the plot is like, or you may have a really cool plot but have no idea who the characters are. Good ideas on one side help the other flow much more naturally. So, which is better, details first or plot first?